She's kind, she's clear, she has incredible resilience, and she's a babe, and the best selfie stick coordination in the world. So I'd like to introduce her to you now. Jane, come on up.
Thank you for that lovely introduction. Well, I have a confession to make that yes, I am the selfie queen, and I take so many selfies that I'm a bit of an embarrassment to my children. But my girlfriends all love it. And I have RSI in my thumb, and my doctor told me that I have to stop doing selfies, and it will not bend. But in actual fact, it makes taking selfies so much easier. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm a chicken when it comes to having needles, so I'm not going to have any cortisone. Life is difficult. They're famous words that were penned in The Road Less Travelled by M. Scott Peck. And when I read his book, I didn't really need to read any further than those first 3 words, that life is difficult. I don't believe my family, Barry, and our 4 children had any idea what laid ahead of us when we arrived in Bunbury 13 years ago in 2005. Not one of us here today knows what our future holds for us. Putting roots down in Bunbury was very easy for me. I threw myself into my local church, attended Bible studies, networking, and establishing a wonderful circle of girlfriends. You see, God was preparing me for what laid ahead. For one day, I was going to need that circle of girlfriends. I was going to need my community to help me. My husband died in front of me on Mother's Day in 2014 in Bali while we were on a holiday. And God had it arranged that Bunbury people were in Bali at that time to help me. I was not alone. Christine McNamara came to the rescue and gave up 3 days of her holidays to help a sister in need. Barry and I had met people that day from Bunbury who were in a room above us in the hotel, so that when he was having his heart attack, I was able to run upstairs and knock on their door and ask for help. That was Julie Sawtraz and her partner David Boothie. We are still very close friends today, forever entwined because of that tragic day. It was community that supported me and encouraged me and inspired me to be strong, to be empowered in my new role as a widow. You see, life has a way of delivering shitty news at any time, any day. As these amazing ladies that I share the company and the privilege to be with will also testify to their own difficult moments. 22 months after my husband died, I was to get that dreaded phone call that we all hate as parents at night. It was on a beautiful summer's evening in March 2016. Our second child, Matthias, was missing at sea, feared drowned at Injinut Rocks. A 3-day sea, air, land rescue failed to find him. So my precious Matthias, only aged 25, was to leave us doing what he loved best, and that was being in the ocean. He was a surfer. But once again, community stepped up and rallied around me. I could have moved back to South Australia, but my family, my community here in Bunbury is where my heart is, and Bunbury is my new home. So you reap what you sow. And for 13 years or more, and really for most of my entire life, I have been sowing friendship, love, loyalty, and loads of fun, frivolity and laughter So in return, I have reaped the most significant sense of community. And I thank you, our friends, our community, for coming along today to celebrate each of our journeys of healing, to hear of our struggles and our pain, but mostly of our triumphs, our success, and our new books. We are greatly indebted to the wonderful and amazing Kate, behind me, the founder of the Book Incubator, and to Solaris Cancer Care ladies here in Bunbury, who have provided us with a very safe and secure platform, a place of refuge. And their acceptance of me and of the girls has been amazing. It's been a wonderful experience being a part of the Book Incubator, as it's just a snippet of our life. And when you have to prepare a talk, it's like, what aspect, what part can we share? But we can only share such a small amount, and we've only got 3 minutes each to talk. So with that, my book's just really basically about my journey of healing, and I wanted to live life, because life is so short. And when Matthias died at such a young age, and he was just so full of life and had travelled a part of the world, I decided I was going to travel. And for me to travel, I had to step out of my comfort zone, and that's another story, it's another book. But I've been travelling, and I've been taking loads and loads of selfies, and I've had a great bunch of people coming along the journey with me. And the thing is, when you're single and on your own, who else is going to take your photo but yourself? So I think it's great that whoever invented it. We've got to milk it for all it's worth. So thank you very much for coming and celebrating with us.
And that's Jane. The next author I'd like to introduce you to. Well, you know, we ran a course. It's a book writing course. A book writing course. She wrote 2. Mandy, come on up. For those of you who have the privilege of being able to call Mandy a friend, Mandy is sincere. She's kind, very kind, funny. I'll avoid that. She's been on one hell of a journey. And she's managed to turn her story. We're doing that one. I thought we were doing the other one. Let me tell you about the first story. Healing a broken heart is something we all have to go through at some time in our lives. This book is a collection of heart murmurs and raw truths of the kind that are not shared enough. A collection of spilled thoughts. There is only one way to heal pain, and that is to be with it, open-heartedly, and honor it. Mandy Duggan.
Hello, beautiful people. Thank you so much for coming out today and supporting me. I'm absolutely wrapped. My heart's smiling. I'm going to talk about my first book and a little bit about my journey around that. People who know me well know that I was a single parent for many, many years. I separated in 2001 and I raised my children on my own, choosing not to have a relationship because I wanted to focus on being the best parent or mother and father that I could be. So this year in January, I decided to start seeing someone. And it was quite earth-shattering because I'd been on my own for a long, long time. But I fell deeply in love with this man, and unfortunately it was a brief relationship. And I started to write the E-collection as a way to heal. And it's absolutely beautiful. I couldn't be more proud of anything. Nothing prepared me for how I felt when I saw the book, smelt it, and read it. So that's what the E-collection is about, the need to communicate those feelings, because in society, people don't really want to hear that you're heartbroken, that you're missing someone. They mean well, but they generally say you need to get on with your life, forget them. There's plenty of fish in the sea, and what happens is we don't heal. We take the pain of that relationship into another one. So I think it's fundamentally important that this book gets written and read, and that we do start listening to people's stories. We're not going to unpack in our pain, we just need to talk about it. And I'm really proud of this book. So everyone who bought it, thank you and enjoy
Books
it.
are very different. It's all part of the program. No two books will be the same. No two books will have the same topic. It's just what the author needs to do. Which brings me to the next book. This book is called Buddy. And it's written by a somewhat shy Bev. And she will be okay. So Bev started out to write her cancer story. But it was too raw and too hard. So what she did... Hello, perfect timing. So what she did was she wrote the story of another survivor, Buddy. Buddy's a rescue dog. And Buddy was welcomed into Bev's family. And it's a lovely story. It's loving and it's kind and it's gorgeous. We can't have Buddy here because he might eat you. But with the family, he's okay. Yeah, there's not so much I can say about it. Bev, come on up, please. Please welcome new author.
Thank you, Kate. And to all these wonderful ladies. And I am going to cry because I'm the emotional one. I haven't stopped for 18 months. Buddy is my Clayton's book. It's the book you write when you couldn't finish the first one you started. Kate and the Book Incubator have given me so much more than just being able to say that I am a published author, which is really cool actually. We've been able to share our journeys through laughs and tears. More tears for me, because as I said, I'm the emotional one. We've learnt there's lots of ways to write a book, and we've found friendships with people we never knew before. I found a friendship with a lady called Mandy, and we have a very special bond because we have the same disease. And it's something I never knew anyone had, especially here in Bunbury. So I feel incredibly close to that lady. But most of all, I've learnt that I'm not alone, and that's thanks to Solaris and a very special lady to me over there. There's two, one called Kathleen and one called Daria. They've been amazing to me, as well as all the ladies from Solaris, because this has been a very lonely journey for me. So thank you, and thank you. And to you, Kate, I can't say thank you enough. Thank you.
Well done. We didn't know that we'd actually get her up on stage. And she did do it and well. So the next author. Some of you may know Vera. Vera you'll find in all sorts of different wild and wacky places. She works across many fields. We know her at Solaris as a reflexologist. Reiki. Oh, God. Sorry. You know, I knew I was going to stuff that up. Vera has a huge heart. And she joined us in this group and wrote a story about being a part of a group when you feel like you don't belong. Her story is called Choco. And within her story are the characters of this group. So I'd like to introduce you to a new author and illustrator, Vera Gales. Sorry. I'm really messy.
I didn't want to fall on my face. When Kate was organising us to do our speeches, she said, Vera, you're going to talk for ages because we can never shut you up. But this is my speech. Way back in 1996, I was in Bangkok, outside a temple, listening to a fortune teller telling me my fortune. I didn't agree with what the past was about and what the present, and he was getting frustrated. And so he said, go away, because there was a huge crowd of people lining up, and it didn't look good with me saying, nah, 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 no good, no good. So he said, go away, don't pay. And I said, well, I'll pay you half, because the past and the present isn't true, but I don't know about the future. So I did. And you know what? What he predicted was that I would write a book. And I did. But what he hadn't predicted was that I would meet a wonderful, courageous group led by a unique and talented lady in a very special place. He omitted that. So my book is about my process of writing it and what I've learned from that experience. And thank you.
The next author I'd like to introduce you to has a very special place in all our hearts, and today is why we're all here on this particular bit of property. Tracy and her husband run a business. Okay, I'm going to try. Shekinah. Shekinah Construction has kindly sponsored this launch and put us up here on their front yard. How lovely of them. So Tracy's book is called Finding My New Normal. And that's one of the things about having a disease like cancer, is it sort of hangs around. And it's sort of hard to know when the cancer finishes and where you begin again. So Tracy's book, Finding My New Normal, is a step into that. I'm just going to read you a little bit of the blurb. Normal is supposed to be the usual, typical, or expected state or condition. Since my diagnosis, life for me has been anything but this. There are no set rules, no right way or wrong way of dealing with this massive curveball thrown my way. I'm still me, but changed forever. I've learned to laugh at myself and with myself. I've allowed myself to feel and possess many ups and down emotions. Most importantly, I have allowed myself to grieve. Am I there yet? Absolutely not. But I've come so far. Life is about finding my new normal, whatever that is, however that looks, and being okay with it. Tracy Aiken.
Okay, well, first of all, I'd like to thank everyone for coming. It's a privilege and an honour to have you here on we rent this place, but it's our home. So welcome everybody. I'd firstly like to thank Solaris, and in particular Carleen, for creating a space for us to meet each week, for putting up with our laughter and very rowdy behaviour. It's kind of like we've been back at school sometimes, hey, the naughty schoolgirls. I'd also like to thank Kate and the Book Incubator for believing in me and for encouraging me to get my story out. And Kate, I will be forever grateful, so thank you so much. I've been incredibly blessed to have amazing support along the way from so many people. I can't mention all of you by name because I would be here all day, but just really quickly, from Gary, my incredible husband, 29 years and it keeps getting better, to my 4 children and their partners, Phil and Alina, Caden and Maddie, Jordan and Sheldon, and Hannah, Sheldon's girlfriend, she's here now too, so I'll include her. And of course my mum and dad, Ken and Joan, who are here today, they have been by my side every step of the way. So thank you, Mum, and thank you, Dad. I've never had to watch any of my children go through what I've been through, and I don't know how you did it and how you've done it, but you've been totally amazing, so thank you. I'm one of 8 children. That's pretty amazing too. And I have had incredible support from my brothers and sisters in so many different ways, and some of them are here today, Tim and Melanie and Janice, and Lynette's here. I'm not sure if I've missed anyone, Simon and Jess. So thank you guys for coming, I really appreciate it. I've also had an amazing medical team who have got me to where I am today. I don't think any of them managed to make it here today, but they're with me in spirit, I know. I have my wonderful naturopath, Cornelia, here. Thank you, Cornelia, to getting me back on track and helping me. It's been amazing. So for those of you that don't know me, in May 2015, I've got some amazing friends here. Sorry, I totally didn't, I've missed you. And there are some incredible friends here. Chris, Kim, there's Rhonda. You girls have been with me. I know you're crying, Chris. You girls have been with me. I know you've prayed for me non-stop, right from my diagnosis, and you girls have been my rock. So I really, really thank you so much. So in May 2015, I was diagnosed with stage 3 aggressive triple-negative breast cancer, and it had spread to my lymph nodes. This diagnosis was such a shock, and it totally unexpected, and it was literally came from nowhere, and something that I thought I would never actually have to face at age 43. I found my cancer diagnosis relentlessly confronting, so many unanswered questions and so many challenges. Life didn't stop when I was diagnosed. Yep, it kept going full throttle ahead, and at the same time, it seemed like my life was put on hold. With major surgery, 8 rounds of chemo and 28 shots of radiotherapy, I must say, I totally agree with my radiotherapist when he said that I had indeed been hit with everything bar the kitchen sink. Then he corrected himself and said, no, actually, we hit you with the kitchen sink. Now go home, take a year or more and rest and recover. A cancer diagnosis has such a ripple effect. It starts with the patient, of course, then the carers, the immediate family, friends, and the list just goes on and on. I believe there is no right or wrong way to deal with cancer. For me, allowing myself to grieve, feel and process my emotions, however that has looked, and being okay with that has been key. Writing this book has been the best experience, and I'm planning to continue to write. This is just the beginning. And there is a chapter book, I hope, on the horizon as well. There have been so many benefits from writing this book, but of course, as the girls have already said, I got to know an amazing group of girls. I did know Jane before, but I didn't know anyone else. And so that has been amazing. You girls, you get me. You've encouraged me and you've cheered me on, and I'll be forever thankful to all of you. We've laughed together, we've cried together, and we've confided in each other. And we are indeed kindred spirits. And you girls are all amazing people and have wonderful stories to tell, and I'm so proud of all of you for what you've achieved. Getting a snippet of my story on paper has been therapeutic and, yes, very overwhelming at times. Some people have said that I'm brave. Some people have said that I'm strong and resilient. I am simply a woman on a journey, trusting God and putting one foot in front of the other. So if this little book can encourage, inspire, or help someone who is on a similar journey to mine, then it has been totally worthwhile. And I just want to say that I've totally forgotten to thank my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law, who have driven an amazing long way to be here today from Muck and Boodin. And you guys, I know that you've prayed for me tirelessly and encouraged me along the way. So thank you so much for all your support as well. So thank you, everyone. Today's about celebrating. So I want us to celebrate and just have a really great time. So thank you all for coming.
I'd like to introduce you to is Susan Unwin. Susan, at the beginning when we started this group, I worried about her. I worried that she didn't fit in. She didn't swear. She didn't tell lewd jokes. And then something happened. She changed. And Susan absolutely joins in this group. Susan is very funny. She's got a wonderful storytelling manner. And she's written a book called Medical Mayhem. Her husband, Peter, did the photographs for this book. And if you see the cover, it speaks volumes. Most women here who've had children will identify with that look on the face. Susan, to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kate. Kate said that she didn't think I fitted in, and when she broached this with me, I said that was only because I didn't know you and I was on my best behaviour. Needless to say, once I get to know you, you find the real me, as my ex-work buddies can easily agree with. Firstly, on Wednesday, I had my teleconference with Professor David Joski, who is the founder of Solaris, and he sent his apologies to say that he could not be here today, but he is with us in spirit, so I thanked him on behalf of us. An amazing man. I believe that life delivers many challenges to see how resourceful mankind can be, and this has been no more obvious than in the field of medical science, hence the name Medical Mayhem. If not for man's ingenuity, experimentation and persistence, I would probably have remained childless and not have two sons of whom I am very proud. My book addresses this in its first two chapters. The third chapter celebrates medical researchers' further achievements in its war against cancer. If I'd been diagnosed with this illness 25 years ago, I would have been terminal. I would not be standing here today. Fortunately, medication means people with chronic myeloid leukemia now have the chance to live a reasonably normal lifespan and get to see their beautiful twin granddaughters, 2.5, grow up and see the achievements that their children are able to reach in my lifetime. I think that was the biggest fear that I always had, that I wouldn't see my kids achieve what they set as their life goals. But fortunately, I'm going to be here for that. I helped nurse my father, who had mesothelioma, and there was no cure. So I live in faith that one day this form of cancer will also be defeated. I nursed my sister through a double mastectomy, and fortunately she is still with us. Hence, I say medical research has come a long way and given people who some time ago would not have been able to survive their illnesses the chance to go on. But most importantly, it's the support of our family, our friends, those people that work at places like Solaris, and people who give us the opportunity to write our life story like Kate, that give us the support and the confidence to be more resilient and to keep going. So I thank you all for supporting the women here today, who have also had to face an illness that indiscriminately targets men, women and children. The last line of my book is that I can see light at the end of the tunnel. I'm hoping that we can see light at the end of the tunnel in the area of cancer research. And to take the motto of the school that I retired from last year, en avant!
She's not shy.
40 years of teaching, you can't.
Now, the last author I'm going to introduce is Mandy. Well, you've already met her. Mandy, as I said, wrote 2 books. She wrote the book E-Collection, and she also Seriously, I can't do two things at once. Yeah. I can't. She also wrote a book called William Absolutely Uninvited. I'm going to let her tell you the whole thing. Oh, there's nothing I can say. All right? Here you go, Ned.
Hello again. What I didn't realise at the outset is that if I wrote 2 books, I had to speak twice. It's kind of like a punishment. Earlier, I neglected to thank everybody that's helped me along the way, and that's typically because this book is about my cancer journey, so I'm going to talk about that now. Carleen, I love you to bits. Thank you. Hayley next to Carleen from Dot's Place. They have been great support and continue to be. These beautiful women, I love you all. I have, how many are you? 5. 5 sisters. And Kate. Kate, you're so dear to me. Thank you so much. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about William. Now, some people may have followed my blog called William Uninvited, and that's kind of how the story came out. I started a blog when I was first diagnosed in 2014, and my world really did fall apart. I was diagnosed with Waldenstrom's macroglobulinemia, which is a very rare type of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And Bev wasn't exaggerating when she said it's absolutely miraculous that I came along to this writing group and one of the members had the same type of cancer. Before then, in the nearly 5 years since I was diagnosed, I've never met anybody else with this type. My medical team, my GP, had never dealt with anybody with this illness, and there is no specialist in it. So we fall under a haematologist, and many of which haven't actually treated this type of cancer. So it's absolute miracle that we found each other. So in 2014, I got diagnosed. Now, where William comes, this is specifically for Mark. Because it's such a mouthful to say, the acronym for Waldenstrom's is WM. And in my view, my cancer's male. So William was born. And he is absolutely uninvited. I never say William without the absolutely uninvited. I'm just going to read the blurb on the back. William Absolutely Uninvited is a window into my journey of seeking the tools within myself to accept a life-shattering diagnosis of an incurable and very rare type of blood cancer, which set off a myriad of mental health issues, in addition to the physical health issues associated with this disease. The book incorporates some of my blog, which I began writing in 2014. The blog has been a vital healing tool in my recovery. My intention is not just to live with this cancer, but to live well, to live more deeply, honestly, and passionately. I no longer settle for anything less than what is real. This intention is unwavering. The power of sharing one's story cannot be underrated, for only through connection with our own truth can we truly know ourselves and give meaning to our lives. So that tells you a little bit about the power in this book. It's not an easy read, but it's very inspirational. And I'd just like to end with saying thank you very much to my mum, my daughter Nisha, my son Josh, my best friend Bernie. Now those 4 people have been my rock, and my brother Danny. Thank you, baby. I hope you never have to know what a rock you've been. I hope none of you ever have to know. So let's all pray for the day that cancer is just a star sign. Thank you.
Okay, so if you could please raise your glasses as we look at this group of women who have bravely told their stories to themselves, to each other, and to us, to the new authors. Thank you for coming this afternoon. And I'd like you to make sure you meet the girls, talk to them. They look a bit scary, but they're really not. And Carlene, would you please come forward? This small gift from the girls to Solaris is a copy of each of their books, so that they will be available for other people to see and to read and to enjoy at the centre. Thank you.
Opens up more people to wanting to write their own stories and move forward with it.
Thank you. Let's enjoy the rest of the afternoon.
I cherish moments, a touch, a smell, a place, like portraits on a wall in a stranger's kitchen. I search for meaning in the garden of my mind, like discovering a secret and sworn to never tell. Mystical life, a rainbow in a bubble, showing a child's face, time-stopping connection, beautiful, mystical life.
Down there. Good.
You know, to me, it seems so real. Hurt, pain, and struggle, it's common to us all.
You always open my eyes with your smile, with all the things that you do, to say that I love you, and with the song in your heart, with the strength in your soul, you open my eyes, you help me to know what is real. Who could ask for more? Wouldn't you agree? Love is all we have, and love is all. Love is all. Some say that love is all that we need to survive. I don't know if that is true. I only know that I love you. Some say that love is all that we need to survive. I don't know if that is true. I